Yeah, we are all equal human beings, right?
Yes, incredibly true. A warm good evening, the power casters, and today we have with us an extremely special guest. He is a part of the family, someone who never ceases to inspire, an entrepreneur, and also the member of the Soka Gakkai International, and someone who's really been a guiding force all this while, a good friend, a mentor, a guide. So, okay, here we begin. So, Mr. Ashish, welcome to the podcast. It's called Power, and thank you very much for signing to do this. So, kindly just give your first word. Kindly introduce yourself to the listeners very quickly, and then we just begin ahead.
Thanks, Prince, for the opportunity, and I would give the compliment back to you. You are equally very encouraging all the time and sharing a lot of good, positive spirit and vibes. So definitely, inspired and learn from you as well. And thanks for giving me the opportunity. Just about myself, I was born and raised in Shimla in the boarding school. I went to the boarding school for 12 years in Bridgewater, and then I was in Pune for my studies post graduation. After that, I did work in Kulu in my hometown with my father in a family business. And since then, I've also traveled outside Kulu, and basically was in India for some time for my career, and then traveled to US with family with Priyanka and our daughters Aisha. So now we set up this company called KATBOTZ, and that's where trying to do some more amazing things. And I can tell you more about it as we go into this conversation. But that's a little bit about myself.
Wow, it's immaculate. And also, first and foremost, the first things first, I would like to ask, what according to you is power?
I think power is something, according to me, is something that we all need to be very. I mean, until now, I feel like it's been taken in the wrong connotation in a way that where people will try to be like more powerful than others and try to like misuse the power for the most part. But I feel it needs to be used as a force for good. More than anything, I feel like the word power itself will continue to derive that connotation, the negative connotation, because of the fact that it has been used so much like that. But I do also see it in a positive light that, hey, from going forward, right, we got to think about using it in a positive way to bring about the change that is really needed. So I would substitute the word power for more for influence.
Oh, wow, that's a good word again. And also, if it's used in the right context, so it's always good, it's always beneficial. So as you even mentioned, Shimla, like your growing up, your May days, like your formative years has been spent in a boarding school, a life filled with discipline and actually a lap of nature. So how was it growing up in Shimla and around the hills?
I mean, I feel like there are a lot of good things that I've learned growing up in the close knit community of Himachal, especially like I was raised in Kulu in my initial years of my life, and then of course in the boarding school, got to meet a lot of awesome people, and got to also learn a lot of good things from all of them, and how we can really be selfless and be really. It's not about the money or about the social stature and things like that, but it's more about the real things, about how we can be a good human being, and there's more to life than just the materialistic things. So I feel like the roots that I've got from my hometown and from Himachal overall have really helped me shape the in terms of who I am as a person, and also in general, when I go out in the society, I'm able to represent that part of the world, right? So I'm thankful to have such a solid backing of my friends, my relatives, and everyone back home. So really thankful for that. I feel growing up in the boarding, I got to meet also a lot of people from different backgrounds and different parts of India. And some people were also from outside of India. So got to learn a lot from them, got to have like a good big network. And also there was a lot of fun times, right? When we were in Shimla, like going to the mall and meeting people and things like that. So I feel fortunate to have been born in that part of the country and really get to be with so many awesome people.
It indeed is a privilege and a fortune to be like in the best in the lap of nature. Of course, that's so great, and you vividly described your connection with the roots, and that's actually what matters most. So, like, I still remember initially, like, in our very first meeting, so you used to talk a lot about mind power, used to talk about focus, and used to talk about Buddhism too. So, in a way, I can call you my Shakubuku parent because you were the first person who introduced me to this chanting and everything initially. Like you introduced me to the fact. So, how does Buddhism happen since you're a practitioner also of the faith? So, how it just like how it happened? Tell us about it.
Yeah, so yeah, thanks to another person, like her name is Akanksha Sood. She's from Shimla, and of course, the community which is there, like throughout the globe. So got to meet them during a point in time when I was going through my own kind of struggles with understanding how life is and what we should do and what are the right things to do in life and how we should live our life so we can really fulfill our dreams, right? So I was a little confused in life, and I felt like there was not too much clarity on in terms of how I should be living my life. But like when you don't know something, then it's still like ignorance is bliss, right? So you live your life the way you see what is fit. So you borrow things from here and there. Of course, being born into a Brahmin family, I was always close to, the prayers and the spiritual things, and always like good upbringing. But it was also muddied by the realities of our life, where when you go out in society, there are certain things which are acceptable, may not be right things all the time. Like when we talk about the karmas, it's about our thoughts, words, and actions, and human mind is very fickle. It will go from one place to the other very quickly, and then whatever we feel like it is right thing according to our own things we want in our life, and we'll continue to do those karmas, right? But like they say, right, the karmas also catch up on you. So each and every thought, word, and action is kind of shaping up your destiny. That's what I learned when I joined this Buddhism, right? Of course, the philosophy is there in Hinduism and other places as well, right? It's all about like what are the causes we are making on a day-to-day basis. So when I was introduced to SGI, the Soka Gakkai, which is a Buddhist, a lay Buddhist organization from Japan, I learned this a bit more deeper, the concept of karma, which is thought, word, and action. And the philosophy or our mentor, Dr. Daisaku Ikeda, right? I mean, there are a lot of text and books written, so I start to delve into it further. Then I understand, oh, okay, if I change myself, I can change the environment and bring about the positive change not only in my life but in the lives of others. So that concept kind of stuck with me because I was at a very low. I started to experiment with that, and everything started to change in my life in terms of my relationships and in terms of how I was dealing with people and in terms of my career and what I was doing on a day-to-day basis in my life. And also it was like the philosophy basically says that all of us have the Buddha potential. Like within us is that inherent goodness, and it also exists in everyone, right? So it's not just in us, but everyone. So when you start to live your life according to that positive kind of a guiding light, then you always make the good causes, right? And you're not doing the bad things. And of course, you cannot change overnight. So it takes time. It's a process. So you continuously every day are self-reflecting and bringing about a change in yourself and thereby affecting your environment as well and also helping others in the process. So that has been since 2006 I joined the organization. I've taken like a lot of responsibilities there to help others also. I feel like in the past over 18 years, there's been like tremendous amount of benefit and change I've seen because of that, and it's more about the inner reflection than about anything else. So yeah, thankful to be part of Super Kai, and really thankful to have an amazing mentor like Dr. Daisa Kuikeda.
Oh, amazing. Rightly said. I resonate with every word said. And even like you were one of the first person who introduced me to consulting, like what consulting is. And if we actually talk about your profession and you were quite experienced in your field and now you have like a wonderful venture of your own. So like tell us about your professional journey.
Yeah, so since I was with my father and I was running his business in Kulu, I was also had my dreams, like I wanted to go out of the country and do things, something outside. Somehow, I landed up in consulting because that seemed like a the route that could get me outside opportunities outside of India. So I started to work very hard and sincerely at my job, and essentially, I was in IBM in India, and during that time, I was started to learn about consulting and got to work with a lot of the talented people in India. So I was there for about, I think, 3 years in India, and that's the time I got the opportunity to come to the US because of all the hard work I had put in over there. And there were like a lot of late nights or late evenings, you're working from morning 8 to evening 9, and you have like little time for the family, etc. Right, and maybe you get some weekends, etc. But all that paid off, and you got the opportunity in the US. Even in US, then we got to work with a lot of these leading companies like the Deloitte and KPMG and IBM, and of course there were the further the clients who we worked with, and essentially part of those experiences we were able to learn a lot, right, and also make like a lot of friends and a lot of good things that happened during that time. So I'm very thankful for those experiences. Essentially, the consulting, right, there can be many things that you can consult on from a management consulting standpoint. The part that I was focused on is to bring about change in terms of how people were using the existing applications versus using the new ones. And I'm focused on finance side of things to help the corporate finance people bring about a change in their like the softwares and the way they're running their business. So most recently, like always, since I was from the business background with my father, I always wanted to continue to do that and have my own business. And even as a child, I always wanted to have my own business. So when we got to I got my green card recently. I thought it was time for me to then pursue my dream. I was already 45, and I was not going to get younger any day, right? So it's really a forward moving process. I said I better make use of the time right now and jump into the venture. So last year we started the business, and basically have four divisions within the business. One is business consulting, the other one's tech innovation, there's recruiting, and there's also education. So in the first year, we've been able to do some of the client work with one of our very good clients. And then also we were able to create our own website. We placed about 5 people, and we've been mentoring and coaching a lot of people in terms of them being able to take off their journey in consulting or other areas of business and management, right? So that's where we are at, Prince. But if you have anything you want to delve deeper into that, I would love to answer those questions.
Oh, great. That's actually so nice. And it is actually wonderful to be the part of it. It's a lot of learning involved. So, what's the vision like you have with CATBOTZ, with consulting, with the work you do, with all your professional and personal goals? Like, what's next? Because it's such a big thing already. It's great, and you're working so passionately. So, what's next? Like, what can we expect?
Yeah, I would say it's a very starting point, Prince, frankly, and thanks for always being encouraging. Like we've got only one customer so far, but my vision is also we want to hit 5 million in sales this year and continue to grow the business, right? I mean, that's a very specific, tangible revenue goal. but ultimately I want to create an organization which truly respects customers and the people they are working for the organization, and give them the ecosystem where they can grow and thrive, so that's one part of it. Obviously, we want to make sure that everyone is fairly compensated for the efforts that they're putting in. The other thing is, this is going to be an organization which is going to give back to society. We want to contribute to education and healthcare, and maybe other issues that are going to support our communities. Both in the US and in India and other parts of the world if we grow to that extent, right? So that is the end game. But of course, we got to continuously work towards generating the profits so we can then reap back the profits into the society and bring about a positive change and leave the world a better place, before we leave from here.
Oh, great. More power to you for this. And also, I would like to ask, what's the secret sauce behind this extremely wonderful, resilient, and so exuberant life force? Like you're constantly passionate, you're working, and you are actually doing a lot of things. So, what's like, what keeps you going always?
I think the main thing is your passion and your determination, right? There are going to be challenges, there are going to be setbacks every day we're going to see in our life, but we got to have that resilient spirit. I think the main thing is what is your spiritual beacon, right? Where are you really looking for inspiration? What are you reading on a day to day basis? So I do go back to SCI philosophy. I do go back to my mentor, Dr. Daisa Kuchera, to look for that kind of inspiration. But in today's world and time and age, right, we all got to have some beacon with that can guide us. So that's one thing. If your head is clear and you know what you want to do, you can definitely pursue that passionately. There are going to be setbacks, but you got to again go back and refresh yourself. There are going to be challenges every day, but you got to see, like, what is possible, what's not possible. And of course, I do make sure I'm working out every day. I do make sure I'm eating healthy, and thankful to Priyanka, who's my better half. So, she always takes care of us really well, making sure we are eating good, healthy foods and everything. So, I think it's a combination of all these things. And I'm also thankful for an awesome network around me who's very supportive and encouraging. People like you, Prince, like who are always there to, keep on encouraging you, even though it may be a dull day or maybe things are not going that great. But yeah, I think it's a combination of everything, right? But yeah, thanks for that question.
Oh, true. And now two important things I'd like to delve. So first and foremost, like in the Gakkai, there's one wonderful term mostly used, human revolution. So kindly elucidate on your version of human revolution, what it is like, what's the deal with this?
See, basically, like in our society today, there's a concept of Satyug. Satyug means like there is going to be truth everywhere. And right now, like in our world, it is not Satyug. It's they call it the Kalyug, right? Kalyug means like, hey, there's going to be all this evil stuff happening. People are not respecting each other, and there's lies and all that stuff going on, right? So we are in that time. But I feel the concept of Satyug, which means the good times where people are truthful, they're nice, and they're doing all the ideal kind of a society, right? Where people are really respecting each other and everything. So I feel the human revolution is about bringing about a change. So it is connect change in yourself and thereby the change in society. Because if one person changes, then another one, and then everyone start to change, right? So the concept of human revolution goes back to the karmas, which is your thought, word, and action. So if you change in terms of your thought, word, and action, and really have those pure thoughts, words, and action towards others and to yourself, you start to see the change in the society. So then it goes back to the concept of Satyug, means like everyone's being truthful and being nice to each other. So the human revolution bring about the positive change. But then guess what? It is a process. It's going to take some time. People are going to start to reflect, and then not everyone agrees to the way that needs to happen, right? But I feel for me, for that one single person as an individual, that I can control myself is to reflect on my thoughts, words, and action on a daily basis to make sure that I'm emerging as a better person every day and thereby bringing about a change or a positive waves of change in the immediate community that I'm serving or the teams and the business, etc., that I'm part of, right? So that is the concept of human revolution for me.
Great, that's so nice. That's so wonderfully explained. And also, through this entire conversation, I've been seeing like you have gratitude as something very important. Like you value that, and that's extremely great a quality. Something like really which is essential, which is the prime. So I guess can you just talk about the spirit of gratitude, how we can all imbibe it in our lives, and what's the magic it creates?
I think we have to remember that we are not an island in ourselves, number one. Number two, we are dependent on others for our success and vice versa. So if we lose the gratitude in our life to everything that has happened towards us and or what others have done to us, then at some point we will start to lose that good fortune or the good streak that we have. Whereas, you know, our mentor, Dr. Daisakugera, says the person who have like gratitude, they are the happiest people because you can practice it yourself. When you go out of your way to thank others and make sure that, you know, people are feeling special, then they're going to be this joy that is going to come from your own life, you know. So I feel gratitude definitely all of us need to have so that we can multiply the good fortune that we have in our lives. So I'm totally kind of, you know, agree with that. I think we all need to practice that more, including me, to make sure that, you know, everyone feels that way, that special person, you know. So yeah.
Wow, that's so firmly reassuring. That's really true. It's extremely great, as clear as water. And also, one thing like the particular podcast, I'll just like to tell you about its tagline. It says, "The podcast that makes you powerful." So, as it said, all good things come to an end. So, will this incredible conversation, which definitely I wanted to go on and on. It's so insightful. It's like extremely informative. It's so didactic. So I just want to like request you to put forth the message to all the powercasters, as I call my audience. So like, what accordingly can make them powerful, and like any like final words from this conversation that you'd like to share to our listeners.
Now, first of all, thanks, Prince, for giving the opportunity and this initiative, right? And your passion and energy is definitely going to take this places. So my only word or thoughts would be that let's continue to put the efforts towards making our world a better place. Don't give up in front of challenges, and you know every drop in the ocean counts. So let's create our communities, our circles, you know, in a better way, so that we can, you know, create that positive change in the world. You know, so all of us count towards that, and let's make it happen. You know,
Oh,
yeah,
great.
that's it.
We surely,
Yeah.
yes, yes, please carry on.
No, that was it.
It's so incredible, and more power to you always. And let's do it more often. This certainly is first of many. And good luck with everything. Like my prayers, and I'll surely be chanting for you as you chant for me. That even you kind of accomplish all your dreams. You have a great year.
Thanks, Prince. Same to you, and thanks for the opportunity. And I look forward to talking to you soon.
Great. So with this, we'll wind up.